Happy to have a full shul again. So this week's Torah portion is Parashat Kedoshim, which means holiness. And usually it's linked to Achrei Mot. Oftentimes we read Achrei Mot and Kedoshim as a double parasha. But because this year is a Jewish leap year, and so coincidentally was also a secular leap year, those parashiyot that are usually married together are divorced for this year, and so we read Kedoshim. In last week's Torah portion, we read an interesting commandment, prohibition. It says, "Umizera lo titen lahavir lemolech, lo techalel et shem Elohecha ani Adonai." You shall not pass your offspring through the fires of Molech. Do not profane the name of the Eternal. I am the Eternal. And this week we read again the prohibition of passing your children, your offspring, through the fires of Molech. So who or what was Molech? Molech was the Canaanite god. The Canaanite god who demanded human sacrifice. And we are told by the Torah not to worship that God, not to sacrifice our children. Abraham Geiger, a German rabbi, important figure in early Reform Judaism in the 19th century, looked at the word Molech, Mem Lamed Kaf. And he saw the word, if you read just the consonants without the vowels, as melech, king, a term used to refer to God. But the vowels were different. It wasn't melech, it was molech. And he postulated that perhaps although the consonants are from the word melech, the vowels are from the word boshem, which means shame. A euphemism for the Canaanite god Baal. So you put the consonants of Melech with the vowels of Boshem, you get Molech. An interesting idea, not always accepted by academics, but an interesting idea nonetheless. We read in the second book of Kings of how the king destroyed a place called Tophet, which is in the valley of Hinnom, in Hebrew, Gay Hinnom, because Molech was worshipped there in that valley outside Jerusalem, and children were passed through the fires of Molech. We know that King Manasseh did that. He's considered to be an evil king. Gay Hinnom, the valley of Hinnom, becomes Gehennom, or Gehenna. In rabbinic thought, the other place, the place where people who don't go to Gan Eden, to heaven go, they go to Gehinnom. Because it was a terrible place, the valley of Hinnom, where children were sacrificed to Molech. We find in the Midrash, Mechilta de Rabbi Yishmael, why does the Torah say that people worshipped Molech? And explains that Molech is if you take anything, if you make anything a ruler, a melech, and you serve that idea, that ism, that religion, which is not life-affirming. Even if you make a shard or a chip of wood that God, then you're passing the children through the fires of Molech. So perhaps the idea of sacrificing children to Molech, well, literally did happen, could also have the idea of metaphorically serving an ideal, a concept, even perhaps a religion which is not life-affirming. Extremism of any kind is a molech. It's not life-affirming. the famous Jewish rabbi, philosopher, and physician, fondly known by the name of Rambam, his full name Moshe ben Maimon, was very influenced by Aristotelian philosophy. And he taught about the Aristotelian concept of the middle road, the middle path, the golden mean. He referred to it as derech ha'emtza'it, the middle path, or derech ha'yeshara, the straight path. And he also referred to it as derech Adonai, the path of God, the middle road. And he says we learn this idea from no one other than Avraham Avinu, Abraham, our patriarch. Because he looks at the Torah verse where God describes and speaks of Avraham and says, Ki yadativ lama'an asher yitzaveh et banav v'et beito acharav. For I have singled him out that he may instruct his people, his children, and his posterity. V'shamru derech Adonai, to keep the way of God, the mean middle path, the golden mean. La'asot tzedakah u'mishpat, to perform charity and judgment. Man hevi Adonai al Avraham et asher diber alav, and that's why God brought Abraham what he asked for. Sometimes we need to go to the extremes. Sometimes we need extreme justice. Sometimes we need extreme compassion and charitableness. But normally we should tread the middle path, says Rambam. We should tread the in-between. We should be cognizant of injustices, but we should also be careful of not going to the extremes. And so he writes in his Mishneh Torah, his code of Jewish law, in Hilchot Da'ah, therefore the early sages instructed a person to evaluate their traits, to calculate them, and to direct them along the middle path. And if he does that, if she does that, if they do that, then they'll be sound of mind and of body. Not sacrificing our children, even ourselves, to the extremes, to Molech, but to tread the straight and narrow middle path of life. As I said, there are times when you have to go to the extremes, but usually we should, for the goodness of our well-being, for our bodies and our souls, tread the middle path. And that's one of the lessons, many lessons you learn from this Torah portion of Kedoshim. Can you hear that song? We're now going to continue with the count.